I'm coming in loud and clear. Might hear me on the radio. Breaker, breaker, 1-9. Anybody got their ears on?
Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Farms. Tonight I've got a pretty interesting video I want to share with you. It's actually an audio clip that I'm going to share here in a second. This was sent to me by a fan of the channel. Thank you for doing that, my friend. And I don't know where in the country this came from, but it's a Part 15 radio transmission that this guy picked up. He was able to record it off of his phone, which is why the quality isn't all that great. But he was just scanning through the FM band, broadcast band, and came across this really strange repeating signal. He said it lasted for about 15 minutes, repeating multiple times, and then just went silent. It is from a group that I've never heard of before, the Prepper Pirate Radio Network, or the Pirate Prepper Radio Network. I'm not sure, I forget which one came first in the thing, but I'm going to play that for you. And as part overall, it sounds to me like it's part of the 333 plan. If you're not familiar with that and you own a radio, you probably should make yourself familiar with that. The 333 plan is every 3 hours for 3 minutes on channel 3 to get and make contact with other people in your area that may be trying to get valuable information out in the event of a natural disaster. The reason it's only every 3 hours for 3 minutes is not some clandestine, we're trying to avoid detection. It has to do with batteries and backup power. Right now, with everything running, we live in a luxurious world. But if we were running off of a FRS handheld radio with no way to recharge it, well, then that would be really critical. So CB-AM channel 3, FRS and GMRS channel 3, and then if you get into the other bands for ham or lower sideband, upper sideband, that kind of stuff, well, they have a chart. So if you Google 333 plan, you'll see all the listed channels, and I'd probably make a hard copy of that, print it out, slap it on the wall with your radio gear, and maybe I'll do that here. But it's an interesting plan, and I'm totally behind that. So anyway, let me go ahead. I'm going to play this video, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about my thoughts on it and what my thoughts are going forward. Let's do it.
This is Patriot Pirate Radio, the voice of the Free Republic. You're listening to a pre-recorded test broadcast of the Radio Free Republic, the Patriot voice of the Free Republic. This is test number 4. The purpose of this test is to verify this station's equipment configuration and coverage area are in compliance with the requirements of FCC Part 15. In the event of a disaster, civil defense emergency or failure of the commercial broadcasters in this area to provide reliable news and information, this station will begin broadcasting on the commercial FM broadcast band. This station is affiliated with other local and national civilian Patriot radio networks to collect, disseminate, and forward important news and information. If you have news or information which could help others in our community stay informed, and you have an FRS, MERS, or CB radio, turn to channel 3 and set any privacy channels to 0 or off. Then call asking for any Radio Free Republic station. If you are within range, your RFR station operator will take your information to share with others in our community. Many RFR operators are also licensed amateur radio operators and can take your information on 146.420 MHz in the 2-meter band. These operators can relay your information beyond our community if necessary.
Broadcast schedules and frequencies for this station will be relayed through your local nets. In an emergency, tune to 95.7 on your FM receiver. Overlay broadcasts will be at 20 minutes after the hour on station High Bridge.
So there it is. I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on that transmission. If you have been following my channel for any amount of time, you know I am a huge fan of Part 15 or community radio stations. I always say pirate, but I put them in quotes because I follow the Part 15 rules here on the property, and I urge everyone else to do so as well. That being said, you can still get some really decent range up to 2 miles in the AM bands, and although I haven't played much with FM, I hear reports all the time on YouTube of people who get 10 to 15 miles using setups like this. I can't imagine that's still part 15 in FM, but that's not my business. Anyway, what do you think of this message? It's pretty interesting. It just repeats. It's got a loop. I just got this, and I have not decoded the Morse code at the end, so maybe somebody wants to let us know in the comments what that is. There was also a digital transmission there for just a brief second. Not sure what that was. If somebody wants to figure out how to decode that as well, I'm very curious to hear it. I'm behind the idea of a network of people who are prepared, people who, you know, we had React when it comes to CB radio back in the day, where we were the ones that would help out in natural disasters. Ham enthusiasts and ham users, they have similar things to that, but here's a way that pretty much anybody on any band could get together. So power goes down, I have access to CB radio, I'm pulling in information. The vast majority of the population doesn't have ham radio, GMRS radio, FRS radio. They don't have any of those. What they do have is the car stereo, AM, FM, or a FM radio built into, you know, other devices that they have. Even the cell phones a lot of times come with FM radios. Their houses probably still have a conventional stereo in it. So while they won't be able to send information using any of those devices, the ability for people like you and me who have two-way radios to communicate, to find out valuable information, and then to power up the old Part 15 radio stations and get that out to our communities becomes a more necessary component of maybe helping people get through tough times. I've lived through a hurricane where we lost power for 2 weeks. I've lived through, you know, a lot of disasters, stuff where we lost power up here actually for 7 days, and it was just a 15-minute windstorm. These things happen. Tornadoes right now, earthquakes, you know, fires, natural disasters, and unfortunately man-made ones too. As the Chinese proverb says, may we live in interesting times. Well, we do. We live in very interesting times, and if you keep up with some of the stuff that's going on in the news, it's getting more interesting by the day. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm real curious in the comments to hear what your thoughts are on this Prepper Pirate Radio Network, or whatever it calls itself. And if you're one of the members of this community, I'm kind of curious why you've never reached out to this channel. Anyway, that'll do it for today, my friends. I hope to hear a lot of conversation in the comments section. Take care.